Full Metal Alchemist, the greatest anime ever made.
I've heard a lot of people say that. Have you ever watched any of the animes that he suggests?
No. Other than, wait, were you the one that suggested the high school or what's the
Assassination Classroom?
No, the one where everybody's a superhero.
My Hero Academia.
My Hero Academia. Was that you?
No.
So no, I haven't. That's the only one I've really watched. I mean, in general, when you recommend an anime to me and ask if I'll watch it, I anime or I anime not. You know, it's just kind of one of those things. I've got a bow shaking their heads. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. Welcome to our spoiler section for Good Boys. Thank you for hanging out with us on YouTube as we do this. We are going to be spoiling The Good Boys. So if you haven't seen it, you don't want to know, you should probably not be here. All right, let's get into it. You ready, Phil? You got everything you need?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. Welcome to the SiftSpoil for Good Boys. Not The Good Boys. Good Boys. We're going to be spoiling the movie for you. So if you haven't seen it, please go away. We don't want you here. I just try to be as mean as... It's like when you have to make a dog go... Yeah, right. I don't like you anymore. You know, you have to lie to them and tell them that they're not wanted. Anyways, we're also going to be jumping around, especially in this one. I don't know if there's really a ton. Like I said, the plot's not all that intricate, so it's not like there's a ton to spoil here, other than maybe specific jokes, those kind of things. But yeah, we might talk about hanging threads, romances, jokes, Easter eggs, cameos, deaths, resurrections, and post-credit sequences.
They all die.
So let's talk a little bit about the Good Boys. What do you want to do? What do you want to get into?
You talked about how you just mentioned like oh man, I had a total brain fart. What I want to talk about is Will Forte talking to Jacob Tremblay at the end of this movie.
Okay.
About him saying, I love you, but I don't like you anymore, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like everything he's saying, that's all in Tremblay's head. Like that's like what he's like digesting of like pretty much what he's saying. I don't take that as Will Forte literally saying that.
I mean, you can take it however you want to take it. I will tell you as a parent, you certainly say those things. You know, I have literally told my children, I love you, but I don't like you right now. I've literally told them that. That is a line that has come out of my mouth because it's true. And in those moments, I need them to know that what they did was disappointing. That,
You're my hero.
Why am I your hero?
Because saying badgering awful things like that to kids is like my favorite thing.
It's not awful. There's a truth to it that I think needs to be spoken.
I know, and that's why I love it.
So yeah, I mean, it's possible that's what Tremblay was hearing, but I mean, it sounded very parental to me. It sounded very real, in a lot of ways.
Everything you love is gone.
Yes, grounds him forever.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what I was talking about, what I consider to be too vulgar for this movie, is whenever Tremblay kisses the sex doll, and he comes back, he's like, "Ooh, that's sticky."
Yeah. And he pulls the hair out of his mouth.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, that was a little too. Yeah, that was a little too.
Okay. No, that's interesting. Like again, I don't know where that line is for me because it's crossed so early that. So is it crossed in a way where you don't even think it's funny? Like you didn't laugh? Because that got one of the biggest laughs in the theater.
I laugh and I'm like, oh, you're 12.
It's cringe, right?
Yeah.
Like it's definitely that kind of cringe, raunch humor where it's like...
But it never reached that level again for me, is what I'm saying. Like, I can't think of anything else in the movie where I'm like, oh, that was a little rough. I mean,
because I think it's probably just because it's so visceral. Like it's something. So we all know what it's like to have a hair stuck in our mouth.
I thought you were gonna say have a sex doll.
No,
we all know.
But so you're dealing with, even though you've never been in that situation, you're dealing with an actual physical feeling that you know, and so you immediately are able more to relate. And then there's again the secondary thing of how oblivious they are, which is what makes it funny.
Yeah. Okay, so Phil, they think that this sex doll is a CPR. I think
he got it. I don't think you need to explain it.
No, they think it's a CPR doll.
Okay.
And that's why they're always like, man, your parents' CPR doll is really pretty.
So he's not kissing it so much as like trying to resuscitate it?
Well, he is kissing it. He's practicing kissing on it. But he just thinks
practicing
it's
the kiss.
Gotcha. I think it's a little bit more cringeworthy than like an adult doing that scene, like a 40-year-old virgin type of scene.
Exactly,
where like there's still innocence, but the actor is older. Like watching a 12-year-old do that on screen would be kind of like, oh man, like that's
exactly
that's
how
so messed up.
I don't know. That's so funny. That's so weird. Again, maybe it's just because the rest of the movie is so similar in that way.
See, I don't think it ever reached that level. Like, okay, I think this what got the biggest laugh in my theater was
You don't think them sniffing the beads is as gross
no, that's just but
she puts those around her neck.
Yeah.
And she makes a face like that they stink.
Yeah, okay, that was close, but I think that was...
I don't know. I just think it's throughout the movie.
Anal beads. I think that the scene that got the biggest laugh in my theater was whenever they go to the frat house. And he's like, you can suck my dick, and you can suck my dick. And then Lucas just goes, well, what about me? What am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
And how he thought that he was actually grown up. He's like, except you, I know you from the con.
Yeah, that scene was hilarious. The paintball stuff there was hilarious. Who was the cameo from the sex doll scene that bought it from them?
That's
I know that actor, and I know him from Ricky Gervais. I think he does a lot of stuff with Ricky Gervais.
Oh yeah, he
and I just can't remember his name.
No, it's come on, brain. I'll see if I can remember it before I can look it up. And the answer is probably going to be no.
Is it Carl Pilkington?
No, because that's who he does Idiot Abroad with.
Well, I think Carl Pilkington is a character of Stephen Merchant. I think that's what.
Merchant.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
It's Steve Merchant. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Anyway, he has that cameo. And that.
I would have paid $1,000. Oh, and when that sex doll gets obliterated on the highway, and then Lucas throws up. Oh man. Oh man, there are so many funny moments. What I thought were the funniest moments in this movie were the innocent moments in this movie. Like, oh yeah, well, Soren's done 3 sips of beers. Nobody's done 3 sips of beers.
Yeah.
Or whenever oh yeah, I think I'm drunk already. Like the stuff like that. That's really what made me laugh the most.
Yeah.
The stuff like that.
Yeah, those are good jokes. Plot-wise, there's not a lot to really dig into that we haven't dug into. It really all is about replacing a drone. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to it. It's just figuring out how to buy a new drone, get the drone home.
But don't you get like how to us, like you, me, and Phil, that is the most unimportant thing we could possibly imagine. But to these kids, that is so important to them that it actually elevates it for us.
Oh, sure.
To being that important.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just because you say that you're like, it's just a simple. Are you talking about the premise of like, we did something wrong and we need to fix it?
And we gotta fix it. Yeah.
Well, you could literally say that about every single movie ever made.
That's exactly what I'm saying. It's very derivative. Like there's nothing in this movie that takes.
You can't knock it for doing what every movie does. There has to be.
Sure, I knock up all sorts of movies for doing that.
Every movie has to have a consequence and ramifications. That's what.
Yes, but the way you do it, make it interesting. Like do something different. Make it interesting. You know what I mean? Like do something beyond.
I think them making it very general and very, blah is what makes it so interesting.
Yes, I totally get what you're saying. For me, I wanted some sort of story movement to, take me through and engage me in different ways through the story. I was never engaged by the story in any way. If this movie, and this is the reason I say this is because there are movies that do the same kind of thing where the plot is not engaging, it's just very derivative, very basic, but they don't have the writing or the humor or the performances to keep me engaged. And all of a sudden, it really shows. And so I think when a movie is firing on all those cylinders is the most I'm going to love it. When a movie just chooses one of those cylinders just to ignore, like I think this movie does, it does have an impact on the movie's ability to be overall better. It's a better movie if they find some interesting story turns. Doesn't mean it's a bad movie. It just means for me, I like that. That's something I really enjoy.
Fair enough.
So, yeah.
All right.
Is that it? Is that all we need to talk about?
I mean, like you said,
do we want to talk about whether he gets his kiss or not?
Yeah, he gets the. I like how he gets the kiss and then he breaks up with two girls immediately, like right afterwards. I also like Lucas. As soon as he sees somebody, he's like, "Nah, I'm out."
Yeah.
And he just goes upstairs and he plays VR. Where am I? Oh, here I am.
Yeah.
Lucas is easily my favorite part of this whole movie.
Yeah.
Whenever they go to the school and they have to get past those two girls and he starts screaming scab, scab, and then he's walking into the school so proud.
Right. Everybody else is embarrassed and he's proud. I'm telling you, that is so me.
He's like waving it at everybody. He is the most optimistic, lovable character. Honestly, I'm not even joking. He is possibly like one of the most lovable characters in movies that I can think of.
Yeah. No, it's good stuff. He does it
so good.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's much else to talk about other than the fact that one of the three of them, dies a tragic and horribly gruesome death.
Yeah, that was rough.
Halfway through, and I was not expecting that.
Yeah.
Especially when the scorpions got involved. That was really strange.
Yeah, I was wondering why the pet store would have that many scorpions.
Yeah.
But,
especially
Phil is...
Did we sell it too much?
Yeah.
Did we scare Phil?
Did we scare Phil? None of that happened.
None of that happened at all. Thanks for tuning in for the spoilers as well. It's one of those movies.
I just like Phil's like, how can you talk about this movie not having high stakes if one of the kids dies in a pet store? He did break his arm on a mail truck though, and that was pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean, really, the only part about this movie when they threw they went and did some shopping at the meat counter and they threw all the meat up on the roof. That was the only part where there were high stakes in the entire movie, really, I think. So thank you for tuning in.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
What you mean by no is yes. Thank you so much for tuning in for the spoilers of Good Boys. We will catch you next week if we need to do some spoilers for whatever you vote for us to see next week.
Yeah.
Maybe Angel Has Fallen if you're feeling really mean. We'll see you then. Bye. All right. We're good. Thank you for tuning in on YouTube as well.
Yeah,
we love you all.
You.